what are the characteristics of a culture that will support omnichannel the way you see it needs to be supported? So this is not realistic. Don't have to be bound by reality here. Be like, this is a moment to be idealistic. What traits would you like to see in an organization that's able to get omnichannel and customer experience at scale right? Let's start with you, Erica.
I'm thinking immediately of open-minded, or another way to describe that would be having a growth mindset. I think you don't always know everything about the customer, and they always surprise you. So if you keep an open mind and don't think you know everything, then you can improve your customer experience, and that covers every part of the feature team. Every team member, everyone in the organization can help make or break that.
Awesome, thank you. Ashley.
I'm going to drink the company Kool-Aid a little bit here and go with two of the Atlassian values, but one of them dovetails with what Erica said, which is the way we phrase it is open company, no BS. But that mindset is really around, like, how do we have those hard conversations? How do we spar this to get to the best idea? It's not about sparring against each other. It's about sparring with each other on the idea. And so that ability to go across and have an open mindset is definitely key. The second one, which is one of our values, is play as a team. And so this idea that we're all here to serve the audience. We're all here to make it better for the person on the other end. We're all here to help them move their work forward. And so it doesn't really matter what my job title is or what I'm specifically tasked with doing. If we're going to come together and figure out the best thing for the person on the other end of our work, that's the key. And so let's play together as a team. Let's think of this in terms of, what are you delivering? What am I delivering? How do we come together to really think about the other person and moving their work forward? Those are the two key things. Be open about it, have that mindset, open communication, and then play as a team.
Nice, thank you. Christopher.
Yeah, thanks. Just looking for the button there. To me, yes. I mean, I was also thinking working across key teams. So it's a similar thing to Ashley. One thing we've done very well is we have IT and comms working really well together, which almost never happens, or so I'm told. So that's working really well. And it's really about looking for key objectives we were sharing and coming together around those objectives. So that's something that I think is really needed. And we have it a little bit at the moment, so that's great. The thing that where I'm kind of imagining more on and hoping more on that we'll never get to is I really want to see the digital maturity jump. I was really shocked in the last 3 to 6 months when I saw some key indicators that our digital maturity is way low. And I know that time's all gone weird and wonky for all of us with COVID. I was trying to remember what year we are, and I realized we're 2021, and the things like tagging are still a problem, and linking, or the issue we have is we have so many people who have to touch the content that we have to train them up and get them to the right level. At the same time, we're building our CMS ship, sail it as we go and build it. We also have to give people hands on deck to pull the rigging and the sails. And yeah, some people are just not doing it right. So what my objective this year is going to really be to shore up the training and the test taking that people are taking. Because what we realized when we went online is people who were in the classroom and were learning what they needed to do were suddenly little dots on a screen. You never saw them. And I asked the people training for me, I said, how confident are you that these people know what they've done at the end? Because what would happen is we'd give them exercises in the class and you'd see them struggling and you could help them. Now, the way our system was set up, we had no idea whether they were maybe they were taking a shower. I don't know. We don't even know if they were in the room. So those are things that we will work on in WHO. And it's something I think that we can all aspire to is all organizations need that digital maturity. A lot of high-level managers think that digital is done. Everybody knows it. No, they don't. We need to take them to the next level. We need to get them to understand. We need them to come to all of your events and learn what is going on digitally, what is omnichannel, because some people are starting to get it, but they need more. So I think you guys all have a bright future.
Well, it's wonderful. And there's a very interesting combination that everybody has come to, which is, I think, some level of holism, or, you know, this idea of open-mindedness, open company, play as a team, shared objectives, digital marketing maturity, digital understandings. There's a lot of people touching the content, so we all need to have shared understanding of it. You know, this idea that Noz was talking about in terms of the journey maps being shared artifacts, helping to connect teams and doing so in a way that connects to strategy and to the tactics. It's that holism, that kind of ability to connect horizontally and vertically outside of a single team, and using artifacts and processes to help that holism be there, but also truly a cultural shift, and it seems like that cultural shift is well underway. And Noz, I'd love to get your last take on culture, and then we're going to do one common problems question.
So my culture stuff I've got is really quick. Humble, giving, and curious. And because with that, you get open-mindedness, adaptiveness, willing to learn and relearn, and as Ashley was saying, willing to be part of a team and actually do something for somebody else. So humble, giving, and curious. And for all that, I think we can tackle this omnichannel thing.
Awesome, thank you so much. And I think that dovetails so well with holism, right? It's like if we're open-minded and we're humble and we're listening, we're also able to understand what others are going through, especially when we're dealing with IT stack, needing to interact with the content, needing to interact. You know, it's like we need as much listening from everybody as possible. So that listening and learning is key. Yeah, I think mine in that same vein is learning and teaching. You know, which I think goes to that same thought. We need to be able to be learners and listening. We need to be able to teach and pass on what we know to raise that level of maturity. Okay, so the next and final question is about common problems. And the reason I think it's an important one to end on is because it's got a tinge of advice in it for folks that are, you know, maybe in your shoes, but maybe a little bit, you know, a few rungs back behind in their career. And they're eyeing this kind of landscape and trying to figure out how to navigate and trying to understand what kind of problems they're going to encounter and what kind of your advice is for folks who want to learn from what you've accomplished so far. You know, that gives everybody just a little bit of insight on problems they might be able to avoid, or ways they might be able to be more successful in their careers moving towards an omnichannel role. Ashley, can we start with you this time?
Sure. So I would say that it's a constant struggle, no matter how far you are in your career, between short-term metrics and long-term customer relationship. Because if you don't achieve that short-term, whatever it is, entrances, signups, sales, retention, you know, all of those business metrics, you're not going to be around for the long run to be able to build that deep relationship. But if you don't build that long run relationship, you're not going to be around to hit your short-term metrics. And so balancing those two things, and I fall prey to this sometimes too, where I'm just like, we have to put the content up, we have to put it up, we have to get the entrances, right? And it's like, is this the right piece of content for the right person? Is this the right way to do this content? You know, are we measuring it effectively? Like, is an entrance metric the right way to measure this versus something like an engagement metric or a sharing metric or a customer effort score in the case of, you know, some of these other things, right? So that tension, I wish I could solve it, because if somebody finds that silver bullet, please let me know. But I would say from an advice standpoint, the A/B testing is key. Just try it. And if you get a better response from your customers or your audience or your users, whoever kind of your audience that you're responsible for, do more of that. If you get a terrible response, great, you learned something, do less of that. So testing is key, I think, to kind of balance the short-term and long-term metrics with relationship.
That's poignant. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine more actionable guidance, because what it's giving the audience is a sense that we need to pay attention to the near term and the shipping, right? The putter-upper part that Christopher was talking about. We got to get the content up. We need to make those numbers, and we need to make it fit into a long-term customer relationship with an eye towards the strategy that fits into, that laddering up that is justified by numbers and tested through a rigorous process. So there's a really interesting combination of advice you've just given. Thank you, Ashley. Erica, if I may go to you next.
Yeah, I think two things are popping into my head. One is you got to take care of yourself. There's so much content. There's so many opportunities to create content that you can fry yourself out. And as someone who managed to do that in my 20s at a startup that you probably all use once in a while, at least, that's based here in Seattle, you can't burn yourself out and make great content. You have to take care of yourself. If you're going to be in it for the long haul, unless you want to change careers. So take care of yourself, do the yoga, and that includes taking care of your coworkers, looking out for them, making sure that everyone's taking care of each other. That's a big thing. And to build on what Ashley said about A/B experimentation, I think my team is getting a lot of value out of content-focused research, that we're looking at the words and only the words, using usability studies that are focused only on the words, independent of design, visual design, I should say. And we're learning so much. We're informing our style guides and really making a lot of headway, just looking at the words and understanding, what do we know, what do we not know. There's my dog. If you can't, I bet you're hearing my dog now. So anyway, we're looking at content-focused research and really getting a lot of bang for a buck out of digging into the words through user testing and other tools like that to evaluate, what do our customers understand and what's going over their heads, what's clear and what's resonating and what is completely not. And it's part of the growth mindset of, we don't know what we don't know. And we're learning every day tons of really valuable information there that's helping make our customer experience so much better.
Beautiful, Erica. What I was hearing was the pulse of yourself, the pulse of your team, and the pulse of the numbers and the metrics that you're creating. There's a different kind of pulse taking that's happening there. So that's really elegant. Thank you. Christopher.
Yes, to me, it always comes back to one of the biggest barriers we keep facing with everything else is money. I think everybody faces this barrier a lot. And we've mentioned one of the solutions to that earlier in the conversation, which is basically tie what you're doing to the corporate objectives and demonstrate with hard numbers and facts how those are impacting the corporate objectives. And I think that's all really relevant and really, really important. And that should be done a lot. But I think there's another side to it, which is basically go out there and start with whatever you can find and demonstrate success with some small but easy wins. So there were 3 technology projects trying to launch at the same time that I was trying to launch to change CMS and to move to a more omnichannel approach. The other 2 approaches said the money is too small, they can't do anything. And I just said, look, I'm going to start with what I can to do one small little tiny thing. And 50,000 became 200,000, which became 2 million, which became more millions. It's never enough. I'm still complaining about money even now. But when I was in a very small regional office for UNESCO, I faced the same thing. And I wasn't able to use these small proof of concepts, these small prototypes to generate more. And so I think really demonstrating something that works and demonstrating how it ties into the values, it doesn't have to be something that completely stops you, because for a lot of us, in many things in life, we use it as a barrier. And there are often alternative ways we can get the wheels moving. And once the wheels are moving, then you're on a journey. And then you have to see how far that journey takes you.
Wow. The three of you should totally get like career counseling jobs on the side. This has really been very helpful to everybody. Thank you so much. Noz, I'd love to give you an opportunity to, one, provide your guidance, and two, also let the audience know a little bit about the OmnichannelX program, and that's coming up here in not a lot of time. From the date of this recording, we're a month away. So
we're talking days, not months anymore. So first, I want to say I am so happy that everybody on this call is on the program for this year's conference. This has been an awesome session. And Cruz, you've been asking most of the questions, but I'm looking forward to your session as well, of course. Guidance. So my first thing for anybody related to content is to separate your value from the deliverables. I think that we in the content world can often kind of get our contribution too tied up in the thing that we're putting up, as it were. Did I make a good app? Did I make a good brochure? Did I make a good manual? We're tying our value into that thing. So then when it comes time to rip that thing to shreds, maybe take it down, completely reimagine it, we feel like we're going through the shredder too. So we have to step back and go, what we're good at is not producing X that we maybe have been producing for 15 years. What we're good at is understanding how stuff gets from in here to somebody else's head by any means necessary. So separate your value from the content, but then measure that value. I think I'm giving the advice that's left after 5 minutes of excellent advice. So, and then the other one, which I wanted to mention, is talk to your audience. I think I've been talking about metrics. We're all interested in numbers. We need those numbers, but don't let algorithms and tools be the only way you're communicating with people. Focus groups, surveys, real connections, we still need those to inform us. The data is part of it, but don't let real people and real conversations get forgotten. The conference this year, if anybody's seen this, you've seen an excellent preview of the quality and caliber of ideas and people you're going to have at any OmnichannelX event. But I'm especially excited about this year, as I am for every upcoming conference. We've got organizations like this, as well as Oracle, Cisco, Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals, MasterCard, and on and on and on. Great individual thinkers like David Dillon Thomas, Hilary Marsh, as well as representatives from brands that are household names. So what more can I say? I can't be more excited about this year's conference. And thank you all for your contributions to it.
Beautiful, beautiful. This has been a journey of discovery, and we've had a lot of really, really insightful contributions from everybody. And I've learned a lot today, and I know our audience will have as well, watching our roundtable. Thank you very much, Erica, Christopher, Ashley, and Noz for participating in this roundtable. And everybody have a great OmnichannelX coming up. I know we'll all learn a lot there and have a chance to connect with others going through some of the trials and tribulations that we navigate all the time, and learn and share our experience. So thanks all for this time. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your days, and appreciate our chance to connect today.